We all know it's not easy to decide who you should hire for your training gym. Maybe you're having interviews and the candidates seem compelling, but how do you really know how they're gonna behave once you hire them and actually put them in the line of action? Well, in today's video, I'm gonna show you my favorite hiring technique that everyone misses. My name is Mark Fisher from businessforunicorns.com, and I'm gonna start by telling you a quick story because this particular technique is one that we've used on and off since the beginning of Mark Fisher Fitness. Now, you might be asking, but Mark, why sometimes off if it's such a good tip? Well, the reason is because sometimes we're stupid. That's right, we're stupid. And sometimes we just forget to do the things we should do. Now, as I've covered in my previous video with 4 keys for effective hiring, by the way, if you're interested in watching, click the description in the box below. You'll know that one of those keys is having an effective and super dialed in SOP, a standard operating procedure that you run every single time and you do so consistently. And I'll spare you the details, but the way it was written, because we do actually attempt to do this, I eat my own cooking, made it look as if this was an optional part of the process. And by skipping this very important part of the hiring process, we made a hire that was not so great. So imagine, if you will, Mark Fisher Fitness, fanciful unicorn place, a lot of energy, a lot of vibes. We hired an individual that was not the right fit. And they were a great person, but they were about as introverted as you can imagine, very soft-spoken, very low energy, not the right fit for really bringing the thunder, really bringing the ridiculousness. And remember, this isn't on this individual, this is on me. And you might imagine at a place like Mark Fisher Fitness, if you make a hire that is not comfortable being somewhat extroverted and bringing energy into either a class or small group personal training sessions, well, it's not gonna lead to the best experience for our ninjas. Of course, we realized too late was not the right fit, and we found an elegant and fair way to send this person away onto other jobs that would be of a better fit. But we could have avoided the whole thing if we did this super important technique that almost everyone seems to miss, and that is utilizing a stress test. A stress test. So what is a stress test? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. So in brief, the Mark Fisher Fitness process is we're collecting all these resumes, as many as we can. We ask people to send us a 60-second video after looking at our website and Instagram to tell us specifically why they'd like to work for Mark Fisher Fitness. After they do the videos, then some of those individuals get invited to do a 10-minute phone screen where we'll make sure that they're engaging on the phone. We'll make sure the compensation and hours we have available are in line with what they're looking for. Then we bring people in and we do a group interview. So we bring people in and we'll bring in several people at a time with several MFFers, notably not myself, and we have them do a group interview. From there, based on that interview, based on how they show up, how they interact with both the MFFers and the other candidates, we then know if they're moving on to the final step of the process. So one of the final steps of the process is a one-on-one interview with me. And if you're interested to find out more about how I conduct those, check out my video in the description box below on my 18 most favorite interview questions. But another thing that we do in addition to that one-on-one interview, which is super, super important before we move on to making an actual hire, is we put people through a stress test. We put them in a high pressure situation, which is relatively easy because it's a job interview. They're gonna be a little bit nervous. And we wanna see, how do you do the thing that we want you to do while under some pressure? So if we're hiring someone for a trainer position, we will have them do a mock class. We'll invite members of the team. We'll even invite ninjas, or our clients, to come to this mock class so they can give feedback to the fitness director. Now, I love this for 2 reasons. One, we get an opportunity to see, can they express the skills that we're looking for? Or does it seem at least that they have potential? And admittedly, with a place like Mark Fisher Fitness, we're gonna do a lot of training. So we are definitely on team hire for personality, for character, for passion, for niceness, and then train the skill. But importantly, the other thing that's very key to see, and this really matters when you're looking for someone in a service business, is how do they handle pressure? How do they handle this stressful situation? Now, it's perfectly normal for them to be nervous, but I want to know, how do those nerves show up? Are they still able to comport themselves well? Can they still create a good experience? Are they still attempting to be warm and personable? If you're hiring someone for a front desk position, there's a number of different things you can do here, but my very favorite is have them do a role play situation where they're dealing with an upset, realistically upset. Again, you don't want to make this impossible. Don't give them a 3-pointer from the half-court line. Sports metaphor, this guy. Now, if you want to make any of these higher stake, easy enough. Have more MFFers and or clients invited to watch, because a lot of people, if they're having to do a public performance and know they're being evaluated, that's going to be stressful. And in fact, that's exactly what we're looking to do here. And this isn't cruel, because in practice, when you work in a service business, if you're a trainer or even a front desk staff, you're going to be in stressful situations where people are getting upset with you. So we need to see, again, not only, let's say in this front desk situation, I not only want to understand what are their intuitions, what are their impulse, what are maybe technique they've developed to elegantly acknowledge, validate, and make it right for an upset customer, but I want to know how do they show up when they're getting stressed? Because in fact, that's going to be a part of the process when you run a training gym. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this tip. If you did, if you think this one is useful, I wouldn't mind some positive feedback by smashing the old subscribe button, and I will look forward to seeing you in a future video where I will give you more actionable tips, psychological frameworks, and philosophy.